Hey, social media, it's Jerry coming to you today from the Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. What is Rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center that uses ayahuasca, farm-to-table organic food, breathwork, meditation, yoga, metaphysical teachings to bring about this amazing change in your life. And I mean an amazing change in your life. How do I know that? Over 18,500 people through the doors here. We're going to get to 20,000 this year. And of those, 98.27% say that they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. And you heard me right, miracle during their stay. Better than that, at 6 months, we send these people another survey, and 90.22% say that this was the week that changed their life. What kind of people come to Rythmia? A-listers of all descriptions, models, actors, actresses, musicians, sports people, athletes, and then business people, billionaires, and then normal people, just like me and you, come to this place to have this amazing life experience. And I mean amazing. Lives are changed forever. And I mean really changed, not just discussed. Because of this, because of our success, because of our being the greatest center of its type in the world, we have people that have come here from a certain notoriety and wanted to join us in our mission of spreading this message throughout the world, because nobody should go without this kind of healing. Some of those people who've given us their name and their time and joined our board of directors are Kelly Slater, the world's greatest surfer, the greatest surfer of all time, came here and decided to help us out by joining our board. Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, 20 years on TV, changed millions of lives, came here, had an incredible experience, comes back a couple times a year, is an active board of director, and is coming here next week. He'll be here all week. Martin Luther King III, right? The son of the slain civil rights leader Martin Luther King and a civil activist in his own right, is here on our board of directors. Michael Bernard Beckwith, the founder of the Agape Spiritual Center, is here on our board of directors. Ron White, they call him Tater Salad, the greatest comedian of our time, has been here, loved it, joined our board of directors, did a big thing on Joe Rogan a couple weeks back about us, loves us. Tony Coe, you might not know her name, but if you're a woman, you might have seen her product. NYX Cosmetics, She is the founder of NYX Cosmetics, was one of the Forbes 100 richest self-made women in the world. Loves this place, rents it out for her birthday, and comes with all of her friends, and is an active board of director. Ayanna Van Zant had a show on the Oprah Network for over 10 years, board of director. Jack Canfield, the author of the Chicken Soup of the Soul series, they sold 50 million copies. 50 million copies. And is on our board of directors. Frank Biden, Joe Biden's brother. And by the way, he became a board of director during the time that his brother was a sitting U.S. president. Mark Kielberger, social entrepreneur, New York Times best-selling author, and also a biohacker who's in his own right developing his marquee value in that space of biohacking. Incredible. Earl Kosky, the American businessman. Brandy Sabella, the author and TV show host. Kim Starwood Terranova from the Agape Spiritual Center. She's an Agape certified teacher and the most amazing spiritual leader in her own right, is here every day of the week at Rythmia. And Dr. Jeff McNary, who was the past GM of the Passages Addiction Center, the most preeminent addiction center in the United States in Malibu, California, and myself are all on this board of directors. Why do these people come and say, hey, look, I will do this for free. I just want to be a part of it. Why? Because it works. And it works ridiculously well. Now, when I talked earlier about the 98.27% of the people having this miracle in their life, and then at 6 months, 90.22% say this was the week that changed their life. In the high 90s of percentile of that group, people decide that they want to become a beneficial presence on the planet. Now, what does that mean? That just means you're going to leave the space where you were better than when you entered it. You're going to elevate the people around you to have a better life experience due to your presence. That's what becoming a beneficial presence is. And Michael Beckwith is a beautiful example of what that embodies, right? So the high 90s of percent, people say, I saw God, I spoke to God, and God spoke back to me. My life is forever changed, and I want to switch how I look at life from it being some kind of burden to it being the greatest gift that anybody could ever receive. And because it's the greatest gift that I could ever receive, I want to become a beneficial presence and help those around me. Now, the higher you set your star to become a beneficial presence, some people set a medium star. Some people set a small star. Some people set an incredibly high star to become a beneficial presence. Depending on how high you aim, you will I guess you will experience a resistance initially in the amount directly equivalent to the amount of height in your star, right? So if I really want to become something great and affect the largest amount of people, I start an agape spiritual center, or I become the civil rights leader that changes the United States, or something like this, yes? Or maybe even starting a rythmia. The higher that star is and the more light you bring, the more resistance you're going to feel in your attainment of becoming a beneficial presence. And that resistance lets you know that you're on course. See, if you don't bring a lot of light, you're not going to have a big backlash. The dark is not going to come up to push you back. It's going to be freewheeling. That's actually one way to know that you're not exactly on course. The struggle is real. Jesus' life is a beautiful example. The struggle is real, right? But it's the only game in town. What do I mean by that? I mean that whether you do this or not, a decade from now is going to come, 2 decades from now is going to come, 3 decades from now is going to come. You're going to be in it. And if you sat on the bench, you're going to feel horrible. So it's the only game in town is getting in the game, right? And what rythmia produces in people's being is the really great desire to get in the game. That's what they produce, right? This very, very markedly easily seen, high vibrating desire to get into the game. That's what we produce. Now, like anything, there are rules to undertaking that mission, that quest. There are rules. Here are the rules. It's going to be harder than anything you've ever done. And based on the trajectory, it shows how hard that will be. It's going to take longer than you ever imagined. You're going to have setbacks that you can never even dream of. And it's going to create more gifts for you than anything you have ever imagined. So in terms of time, you have to figure a minimum of 10 years. When I tell that to people and they balk on that, it's because they're not ready. Because it's a minimum of 10 years. All of my friends who are billionaires have had a real long ramp in getting there, usually 30 years within a company. 30 years. My friend Papa John's a great example. Tony Coe, a great example, right? That's the 30-year trajectory. And the thing that holds you together in that is two things. It's your agreements with yourself. And I've gone over these agreements with you before, and I'm going to make them available to a place online where they are, but they're also in this book, Truthonomics, which is my book. So this thing is that these agreements keep you on track. And why do you need to be kept on track? Because there's a bunch of little agreements you need to do. You need to make an agreement every day about what your spiritual practice is going to be. And I don't mean that, you start out and you're praying 5 times a day for 2 hours a day. It's not what I mean. I mean, start out with something really small, a 5-minute meditation, 5 minutes of proactive prayer, 5 minutes of regular prayer, 5 minutes of breath work, 99 breaths in and out. There's all kinds of ways to start, but you sign an agreement that you're going to adhere to it. And then an agreement about body movement. You see, body movement is a part of the overall overall rule to be able to keep your body temple clean and sharp and strong to get to this place, because there's many days you're going to want to quit. Part of that body agreement is the part where you submit that no matter what, you're going to do these things and you're never going to quit, right? The body agreement, the agreement over what to eat, what to ingest, what to drink. Some people can get away with drinking a little bit of alcohol, others can't. Some people can get away with smoking a little weed, others can't. There's all these things that you have to uncover about yourself, to know your weaknesses, to get to this point on this road, right? So there's all these little agreements. The last of which is an agreement to tithe out of your delta. So you don't tithe out of what you're making today. Because this feeling of mastery and the attainment of mastery produces an energetic equivalent in the form of money that you've never been able to experience before. Tons of the energy of money will come at you. Part of that is that you have an agreement to take that delta and to take either 10 or 7% of that delta and give it to a predetermined cause. Then you're participating with the universe in your own success. That's part of the formula to get you in this thing. And what is the gift? People say, oh, the gift is all that money. The gift isn't the money. The gift is the feeling of being involved in something that leaves the world a better place than when you started, that is much bigger than you, and that you're a partner with the universe on. That feeling of flow, that feeling of fulfillment, that feeling of satisfaction is the greatest feeling on the earth, and everybody should be able to feel that. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And it's your birthright once you recognize it. It is your birthright. And It doesn't care what you did yesterday, last week, 10 years from now. It doesn't care how many times you failed. It only cares about you recalibrated, picked a new star, and moved forward. That's what it cares about. Now, today I want to talk about no bailout. What does that mean? Well, one of the habits of unsuccessful people is that there's a lot of habits of unsuccessful people, from people that try to tear other people down. It's called tall poppy syndrome, to talking badly about others, to making up stories about people. That's the lowest vibratory place, right? As you go up the scale, there are all different pitfalls in that. One of the pitfalls I'm going to talk to today is waiting to be bailed out, right? So I know so many people that are waiting for a savior in their life. And what do I mean by that? They're either waiting for a financial savior, someone to share the load with, somebody to take their work from them. They're looking for a place to rest and to be rescued. If that is your mentality, you can never play the game. Because here's the first rule of becoming a beneficial presence. Everything you need is within you to get there. Every single thing that you need is within you to get there. What do I mean by that? I mean, because a lot of people will say, well, look at, when Papa John had Papa John's, he had 80,000 employees and blah, 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 blah. And that's all true. What Papa John had, which was in him, was the ability to recruit great franchisees, great employees, great da-da-da. So everything that you need is within you, even the piece that you need to get you through the current problem you're facing. It is all 100% within you. You were given the skill, or you wouldn't have been invited to the game. You have been given the skill, or you would not have been invited to the game. This is the game. You have the skill. Now, like all great mysteries, sometimes the skill doesn't appear to us until we're on the path. So listen, I want to do this business. I want to make, let's say, the greatest life advancement center the world has ever seen. Well, when I started, I didn't know what the hell that was. I knew I was told things by the medicine, but that's all I had. But as I went down the road, the way appeared. I made a promise to get there. I made a promise to get there, and as I walked, the way appeared. So you don't know what skills you have until the fight starts. You don't know. You might be, and I've seen it before, I've seen the quietest guys and gals become the best recruiters. I've seen the quietest guys and gals become the best spokesperson for their companies, causes, churches, communities. I've seen skills pop up out of nowhere. And why do they pop up out of nowhere? Because the oak tree is in the acorn. Those big things are already embedded in you as seeds. They just haven't hatched yet because the environment has not been right to need them. You're standing in the shade and you need to get into the light. And then in the light, these things sprout. And that is the absolute God's truth. These things sprout on the journey. And then you start doing this at some part in this journey, that as these new obstacles appear that seem insurmountable, you know that although you don't understand it, there is a seed in you that was given by first motion, first mover, God, the energy, whatever you consider it to be. That seed was embedded in you, and it will spark when you're in the light and the need occurs. Do you ever see like a mom, and these stories are really real, that like a mom or a guy, his son got hit by a car, and the guy picks up the car, picks the car up. That happens, right? So it's based on need. But if you put yourself in a position of shelter and shade, where I'm only looking for shelter and shade, then they can never grow. And guess what happens? Without the light, without making a proclamation, letting the world know what you're doing and walking towards it, you're in the dark. And all things wither in the extended dark, except things that are really no good. So to grow your things, you have to get into the light. It is a solo mission. This mission is a solo mission, even if you have 80,000 employees, or like some of the people that I mentioned early in this list have 10 million followers on social media. They are alone. They are the first mover. What creates the magnetism to draw people to your cause? Your definiteness of purpose. You're walking in the light and proclaiming it. And your unfettered energy to stay on course. That no matter what comes up, you stay on course until somebody takes you out of the game. And I talk about this a lot. When I was a younger guy, I had, as the CEO of a company that I started, that it was my idea, that I put together a board of directors, and I got caught in the dot-com crash of the 1999. And I ended up getting fired a year later from my company. I begged for that job back, but the board of directors wouldn't give it to me. I got fired as a CEO. And what did I do? Instead of taking a huge severance, because I didn't have much money at that time, and I think the severance was $200,000 or $600,000. I forget exactly. It was a ton of money, and I didn't take it. And in exchange, what I did is I had them give me the right to compete against them, because I wanted to do that business a different way. And they gave it to me. And that business I ended up selling it. It had zero debt, and I ended up selling it for a tick under $90 million. Yeah. And I was the overwhelming largest shareholder. Yeah. So what I'm going to say is that until you're taken out of the game by forces greater than you, a governing body, if you try and you get denied, that's one thing. But quitting always feels good in the short term and horrible in the long term. It always feels good in the short term and horrible in the long term. Stick with it. Nobody's coming to save you. Get in the light and grow your sprouts. You'll be surprised the skills that you inherently have that were not trained in you, that are really your skills. You'd be shocked. I want you to try it. Okay, until next week, God bless you, God keep you, God hold you, and we will see you next week, hopefully at Rythmia.